Okay, that's going now. Tell him thank you. That was Mark that set that up. I told Mark, I said I didn't know YouTube wasn't set up. There wasn't YouTube feed set up for me. I don't know if Brock can do it.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Rory is out today getting probed.
Having an anal probe.
So what were you saying? I interrupted you.
One of the women in the class, she was saying she said she remembered seeing me in Zumba and stuff. Anyway, she was saying she has limited time because her husband has therapy. She has to take him to therapy, and I asked her, is it short term? Or she goes, no. He had 2 years ago. He had back surgery for they were implanting a stimulator, spinal stimulator, where he had like chronic pain, and they paralyzed him.
Oh, Christ Almighty!
Yeah, this is an MUSC doctor.
This is what you want to hear before you go in for a back operation.
Yeah, really. Yeah, it was an MUSC doctor, and so. Yeah, he was an active guy. He had this chronic pain though, and you know, he swam and he walked, you know.
I wonder if they sued him.
Well, they have, you know, they're in the process. You know, it takes a long time, but yeah, medical malpractice, because she said, you know, like he's in a wheelchair somewhere down the line, and she takes him to this therapy and stuff somewhere down the line. You know, she's going to need additional help. She didn't look it, but she's 71.
Oh my God.
And he's 73. And, but anyway, so, yeah, it's horrific. And she said, they have a next door neighbor who has the same problem, you know, same back issue. Yeah. And he's decided not to.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Not to do it. And he occasionally helps her with her husband. But her husband says he doesn't have the pain now, but of course he's, you know.
Yeah, can't walk.
Can't walk.
Yeah, that's not much of a.
You know, it's like a total lifestyle change.
That's
for
not
both
much.
of
That's
them.
not much of a bargain.
No, he said he'd take the pain over being paralyzed.
See, this is the. There's so many. I hate these back things because I've heard so many stories.
I know
about these
there's so many. You know, there's so many issues, but you know, in my case, if it gets worse, there's nothing they can do. Yeah. And it's like it would be really protruding onto the nerve. Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I guess to the point we don't have any choice, but it's still scary.
Oh yeah, it is. Believe me, I'm scared, but I'm hoping. You know, and the other thing is, he said, you know, the doctor said, you know, there's always, anytime there's surgery, there's formation of scar tissue, and you never.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know. I'll tell you one thing I know. I need a shower.
You're going to Mount Pleasant, right?
Yeah. Man, did you see all the tomatoes I brought in?
Yeah.
They are so good too. They really need to turn orange, but they are delicious.
core weave still moving up here. Even the Qs are getting a little bit, pulling back a little bit, but not much. Not compared to the SPY. So the Qs are still holding up pretty nicely. SPY still just below the pivot point here. See if any questions here. Nope, pretty quiet here now. About 11:40. I finally got the YouTube feed going. What? Oh yeah. All right, back to looking for some stocks here. Was able to get 2 trades off today on CoreWeave and Netflix. Very quick trades. Netflix had a nice move. Again, I had a 12.05, 12.20 call debit spread on that. I paid $3.40 for it. $15 spread, so almost 31, and took it off at $7. In CoreWeave, I had the 98.101. Look where that thing is now, 108, and I took good profits in that one as well. Harry pointing out NVIDIA is moving. Yep, moving up nicely. Another nice setup here on NVIDIA. I like NVIDIA. And again, this has earnings next week. Week from today, next Wednesday is earnings on NVIDIA. And remember, Monday's a holiday, so we got a little bit of time for NVIDIA, but it's a nice long setup. Nice move in NVIDIA again, very strong. I'm not going to chase it up here, but this is a really nice long setup on NVIDIA. Triple Qs. Still holding up here pretty nicely, close to the high of the day. Again, green for the day on the Qs. The SPY hasn't got green yet. And just watching the market here. The IWM the weakest. Yep, absolutely quite weak today. NVIDIA pushing the whole market up. Feels like, yeah, I don't know. There's a few stocks that are pretty strong here. NVIDIA looks very nice. Netflix still looks like a good long. Pull back a little bit. Its core weave is moving up. Starting to pull back a little bit, but Q's are pretty strong altogether. AMD also up about 2% today. MSTR pulling back a bit from a high. It's actually red now for the day. MSTR bumped up to resistance and pulled back. Yep. They have a habit of doing that. Robert, what is the Discord channel? I don't have a link to it. Rory would have to get, you have to get that from Rightline. Likely again, if you're you get that if you're on a trial, you don't get the Discord room because it's way too much administrative work to get people in and out of that thing. But once you're subscribed for any of the either the room or the alerts or the software for any period of time, then you'll get the link to it. And if you haven't got it, just give them a call or send them an email asking you'd like it. They should like it. William, another $100 on NVIDIA. Nice job. Ollie, Hood, nice. Yeah, some good. There's decent. Listen, the tech stocks are all strong this morning, and the market's actually holding up pretty well now, but Q's especially. And Hood, by the way, is right at resistance. 66.79 is resistance on Hood. Ollie, you haven't been able to get yourself to go long. You've been having. I mean, I think you've been short biased here for a good long time, and it's you got to trade the market. I mean, you have to trade the market. I understand there's a lot of overriding things on the market that look like the market should be short, but you got to trade what you see. And I know everybody when the market gap down this morning, everybody with a short bias figured this is it. The interest rates are going. The bonds are going up. This is going to be a beginning of a rollover. But the market hasn't shown us that. It's been very strong, very strong. So it's still bullish. As I said yesterday, it's still a bullish setup on the market. So having a short bias can really kind of handcuff you. Even taking small positions on the long side, but not with convictions. I don't have any convictions on either side right now, so. William, core weave up 20% today, yep. Very picture of parabolic, but that doesn't mean it can't go up 40% today either. I mean, I wouldn't hold it overnight, but this is a pretty strong move in core weave. There's a lot of buying coming into it. The volume's been pretty substantial too. It is traded today 31.6 million shares. Yeah, all day yesterday it traded 34.9, so it's going to exceed yesterday's volume. This is a pretty big push in core weave. ALNY, biotech with good relative strength, about $7 below all-time high. Thank you, ALNY. Yeah, nice move up here the last 4 or 5 days on that. There's ALNY right there. Nice move up here. Daily chart looks pretty good, I'm thinking. Yep, looks pretty nice. Again, this is kind of a breakout here right now. To come off of the high for the other day. The high on Monday was 296.80. 296.80. So we just went above that. It does have some resistance up around 300. ETNB also strong. Thanks, Ari. ETNB, another strong biotech. Ari knows these biotechs. How about ETNB? There you go. Yeah, nice move in ENTB right here. ETNB, sorry. ETNB. Breaking out. It's got resistance. Let's see. 933 was resistance. 933. It went through that. Actually, 932. It's above that right now. The next resistance level. It's kind of a mishmash of next resistance levels. A lot of high volume candles back in February and January that have that are going to offer some resistance in here. Next one, significant one, is 985. SPY right to the, still hasn't got through the pivot point yet. Q's still looking pretty good. Jay pointing out AES has been a good short. AES, yeah, very big move today. It's up 7% to the downside. It's got I got a support level, a horizontal support level at 1050. At 1050, it's a utility. It's sitting right at that support level right now. Big move down today though, almost over 6.5%. All right. See if any questions here. Let's take a look. Sama, hello. What are we looking at here? What's happening? Well, the market gapped down this morning, and pulled up. This is the Qs. The Qs especially is a gap down this morning. It's been grinding up ever since. The strongest index is the Qs. The Qs are actually green right now for the day. The tech stocks are doing very well. I traded Netflix this morning. I traded CoreWeave this morning. Nvidia is also moving up nicely right now in the Qs. So the market's been fairly resilient here, coming off of that low. Again, the Q's green. The SPY I think is still red. Yeah, it's still red, but just by a little bit now, just down 0.17%. So, and if you're not familiar with the software, Sama, this is a SPY super system. This tells us whether the institutions are in trades or not. This is current time frame momentum, multi-time frame momentum, long-term trend. On the 5-minute chart, this is the key one right here. Blue and green is long, bullish, and red and yellow are bearish. And this is multi-time trend. This is current time frame trend. I don't use this on the 5-minute, but I do use it on the daily if I'm looking for a swing trade. Then if this multi-time frame momentum and this current time frame momentum would both need to be lined up, green or blue for long, red or yellow for short. Right now you can see we've got a mixture here that is kind of choppy, getting a little bit of choppiness in the SPY. If you look at the Qs, you're going to see a lot more consistency here. You see this, all the green across the board here. Qs are very much more bullish than the SPY. And if I look at the Russell 2000, which is the IWM, what you're going to see here is a lot of choppiness. So it tells us what the institutions are doing. The institutions are moving right now. They're moving in tech stocks. And a lot of the tech stocks are reflecting that. NVIDIA, look at NVIDIA go nicely here. Okay? Heaven, when I say I don't want to chase NVIDIA, how do I define chasing? Well, I define chasing when it's getting too far away from the 15 EMA. When I want to take a trade, especially on intradays, I want to take it off of a support level. The support levels I use are the VWAP right here, this pink line, the volume weighted average price, and the 15. And if I'm taking it up here, my stop's got to be way down here. So I'm too far away from my stop to take the trade. So if it keeps going, then I miss the trade. That's all there is to it. But if it's somewhere near support, and it reverses back up into a long again, then I would jump in. So that's what I mean by too far extended. When I took NVIDIA today, I took NVIDIA down here off this 15, and I took a call debit spread in this thing. I took the 1205, 1220, because it was, see how it was bouncing off the 15? Everything's green, it's bouncing off the 15. I've got a nice entry level here on Netflix. I'm not too far away from my support level. So if it falls below my support level, then I'm going to have a minimal loss. If I'm chasing NVIDIA now, which is it is a chase up here. It's a chase. I mean, you're chasing it because you're this far away. If I get in up here, where am I going to get out? Am I going to let it drop all the way back down here to 136.11? If I'm in calls, that's going to be fairly painful. So that's what I mean by chasing. Chasing big moves to the upside when you're away from the support resistance level. I wait for them to come to support resistance and then get in at those levels. Gives me a much better entry. It cuts my likelihood of a big loss down by a lot. Hopefully you can hear me now. Sam, I said I think I wasn't reading the chat. Yeah, I had to get I had trouble getting the YouTube feed up today, and then I was in the room doing some going through some scans and stuff, looking for some stocks to trade. So that's why I didn't react immediately. But I have all the chat up there now. So if you have any questions, pop them out there. Hope that helps, Heaven, as far as the chasing is concerned. You know, listen, it's a thing with FOMO, fear of missing out. This is what gets people in a lot of trouble. One of the big reasons for overtrading, one of the big problems that retail traders have is overtrading. Another thing is they feel like they have to be in a trade all the time. And another thing is they suffer from FOMO. When a stock starts moving up like this, they feel like they're missing out on the money. You know, they can't take it anymore. I've got to get into this trade because everybody's making money because look how far it's gone. I got to jump in now. And a lot of times when you do that, you're getting in right near the very top. And I'm not going to do that. And you know, I miss some trades with that because they'll keep going and I won't be in them. But the point is, I'm not getting in near the top, or if on a short, getting in near the bottom. So buying at support, or buying near support and buying near resistance is really, really important. Stocks and having stocks with relative strength and relative weakness is also important. You hear me now, Sama? Thanks. Sorry about that. I had trouble getting it up, and then by the time I realized it was up, I think you had already posted some stuff there. So, all right, let me check the room, see if we've got any questions here. Few, Ali. Piton, crazy move. Yeah, this is the one that had all the unusual option activity yesterday. It hasn't been able to get through the 200. It had a nice move yesterday, but today still staying below the 200-day moving average. Yeah, I see that big candle on Piton. But they had an awful lot of call activity yesterday. It's a big volume candle too, by the way. This candle right there, that 5-minute candlestick, had 1.2 million shares. How's the T2104? Let me look. It was bearish last time I looked at it. Cumulative volume index still kind of bearish, but getting choppy now. No, I would say it doesn't really have any divergence to it all. It's pretty much just mimicking the market right now. Suzanne, given that the Qs have run up for the day and SPY is at higher day, would I look to enter for a pullback on relative strength stocks for a day trade? A pullback on relative strength stocks for a day trade. You mean getting long the stock on a pullback? What to look next on a day trade? I mean, you have to kind of play this market by ear right now. The cues are still very strong. Am I looking for a pullback? I'm not looking for anything. I'm waiting to see what it does. But again, I'm not going to chase it. The cues are right here on the 15. You know, if this cues come back to the 15, you can actually take the cues long right here if you wanted to take a SPY super system trade. The only caveat to that right now is on the daily chart. The cues have resistance at 523.78. 523.78. We're very close to that, just $1 away. So right now I'm not looking to do anything until I see what the market does. Is this rally going to continue? I don't know. Nobody knows. But the Russell's even starting to bounce a little bit right now. So it's a pretty nice move in the SPY as it goes above the pivot point, tries to get above the pivot point. Am I still in Zim and IBM, Anthony? I am. I'm still in Zim. If it doesn't close above 1844 today, I'm going to dump it. And I'm still in IBM. IBM is on the daily chart here. Let me show you the daily chart in IBM. Right, so this is the 8. You see how it's gotten a little extended here? It's a really nice bullish setup. This is a nice bullish setup. It's pulling back. It's pulling back toward the 8 right here. And it does this frequently. And then bounces back up again. So I'm looking to see if this 8 holds. If the 8 holds, then I'm okay with that for right now. I wish it was stronger today because the market's up, cues are up, but I'm also in Palantir, by the way, which is up about $1 right now. Where do you go from here, says Ian? That's a tough one to answer, right? Market looks pretty good. You have to be leaning bullish right now. The T2104 is not, but price doesn't lie, and the market is pretty strong. Qs are still red. SPY is still red. Remember now, SPY is still red. We haven't recovered the gap yet, but the Qs have. So if I was looking to be long, I would be looking at Nasdaq stocks. Like I did this morning with Netflix. Netflix was a nice one. Nvidia still looks really good, but again, I'm not going to chase it up here. If I get a pullback to the 15 and then a bounce off of there, going back into the original trend again, then I would consider taking some. About 12:11 here right now. Can you tell us what you see on the charts for Boeing? Sure, Simon, I can. Let's look at it right here. We'll look at it on SPY Super System. What's it look like today? It looks like it's been red all day. We're getting a little bit of buying coming into it right now. But let's look at the daily chart and see what the daily chart looks like on Boeing. Okay, pretty green. All right, they've had some good news lately, some good sales that they have talked about. This is a pretty nice setup. But if I look on it, my TC2000 chart, makes it a little bit easier to see on the daily. All right, so here's Boeing on the daily right here. Pretty nice move up. I hate this stock to trade, by the way. This thing is a brute to trade. But you can see the nice move in it here. It's moving up, and right now it's just coursing right along this 8. It's following the 8 almost right to a T. So it's okay. Here's as a long. I think there's better stocks. Nvidia looks better. Netflix looks better. Meta even looks better here as it bounces up. I wouldn't take it here because it's getting close to resistance. That little thin white line there, that's a horizontal resistance line. Roblex bounced up today, also looks pretty good. So there's quite a few longs. I would much prefer to Boeing, but you can see what this chart looks like. It looks pretty decent. And the SPY Super System telling you the institutions are buying it. I mean, they've been buying it for a while here. So it's not a terrible long. I mean, if you wanted to trade it, you wouldn't. If I was going to take it long, I would wait for it to get above the VWAP today and have green or blue right down here. That way, if it's bullish on the 5 minute and you feel like you want to get out before the day's over, you can. About 12:13. SPY showing good resilience here after this gap down this morning. Again, I know there was a lot of folks who were short biased, that when they saw the market gap down today, especially with the TLT or the interest rates on the bonds going up, they thought that maybe this was the market rolling over. We've got to have some confirmation that the market's going to roll over here. It's still bullish. You know, when you're looking at the daily chart here on the SPY, there's, you can't read this as bearish right now. You can read the fundamentals as bearish if you want to. You know, tariffs, the interest rates going up, on the TLT going down. You know, here's the TLT. These are inverse of the interest rate. So as TLT comes down, the bonds go up. This is the 10-year, 20-year Treasury. The rates on them go up, which puts pressure on the economy. It puts pressure on the country. It's trying to refinance its debt. It puts pressure on quite frankly, it puts pressure on the tech stocks because they're so capital intensive. But you can see what's happening. TLT here is down today, but what's the Qs doing? The Qs is up here almost to resistance. Look at this. So is this a bullish chart? It is. This chart right now is bullish since the tariff. This is when the tariffs went on. This is when they paused them. You see this huge green candle. Then we pulled back and we chopped around a little bit. But ever since then, we've been moving up, compressed and moving up. The market's bullish. I mean, short term, the market's bullish. Regardless of what you think it should be doing, this is what it's doing. Alright, just going to look around for some better stocks right now. I'm not going to do anything right now here at lunchtime. Q's flattening out, SPY flattening out. I've got to see a pullback and then a bounce in anything that I want to trade, including NVIDIA. NVIDIA, I'd look for a pullback to the 15 EMA right here. For the VWAP, I don't know that it'll get all the way down there. Netflix pretty nice here as well. The CoreWeave has been a monster that William pointed out this morning. I had a nice profit in that on a call debit spread, but again, flattening out a little bit here right now. Again, I'm not chasing anything at this point. I've made my 2 trades. I'm out of them right now. I'm just going to wait to see what the market does. Looking for some straddles and strangles, but I haven't found anything. It's just too much compression in a lot of the stocks that it would be potential straddles and strangles. Again, I don't like to see, when I take a straddle or a strangle, which is a non-directional trade, you're looking for stock that's going to move a lot. So you buy a put and a call for about the same amount. So you buy a straddle or a strangle. Looking for the stock to make a big move, but if the stock's moving sideways during the day, they become less potential profit makers because of the fact that the last thing you want a straddle or a strangle to do is compress, because moving sideways, it's not moving. All it's doing is bleeding time from your options. So for anybody who does straddles and strangles, you need to find a stock that's doing something. not just on a gap, but it needs to be doing something on the 5-minute chart. When I see this potential strangle, is Baidu, which I think they had earnings today, but I'm not sure. Let me look. If they had earnings, I'd be okay taking it. If they don't have earnings till tonight, I'm not interested. Yeah, they had earnings. Baidu had earnings. So this would be one that would interest me for a strangle. And what I look at is I look at the chart on Baidu, right? Here's the 5-minute chart. Here's the daily chart. It's pretty much near the low of the day. If I look at the 5-minute chart on it, there's got plenty of price action. It's moving down. It's almost at the low of the day, which is I'm fine with that. The volume today, of course, is off of the earnings is big. You can see how big it is. So then the question is, how much is it going to cost me to do a straddle or a strangle on this? So then I have to go to the option chain and look at that. All right, so I'm going to go to the option chain and look at that. Baidu. And I'm looking at it's trading at 86.50, so I could take an 86 put and an 87 call. All right, so that's going to cost me $249. So then I look and see what's the ATR in this thing, and it's 311. So I get $249. That's close enough for me to take a This would be a strangle on Baidu. I'm taking since it's trading at 86.50, I can take an 87 call and an 86 put because they have dollar spreads on them, and I would be paying about $249. I wouldn't want to pay any more than that. And you know, the premiums are a little bit inflated because they have earnings today. And again, it's a Chinese stock, so it's going to be susceptible to news, which is fine. I prefer to have it susceptible to news because I'm looking for something that might take a big move one way or the other. I don't care which way. All right, so I did take it. I took the Baidu strangle. I took an 86 put and an 87 call. I'm going to post that here in case anybody's interested. I'm not going to alert on this one because this market is way too unsure of what's going on here. But I'm going to take this one. It's going to be in the room. Baidu. Okay, this is a strangle. So you're buying the May 23rd, this week's 87 call, and buy this week's 86 put. And it's going to cost about $250, around $250. Okay, so that's the one I just put on. That's a strangle on Baidu. And we don't care which direction it goes. We just need to see it move, $3 one way or the other. And you have to be fairly quick on these because I put this in here. It's now trading at 85.66. You want to be getting in when it's around 86.50 or so. It's close enough right now, but if it moves up past 87 or down to it about 86 and a quarter, you have to adjust your strikes. Wouldn't even get a crowd with a strong move. Crowd strike. Yeah, tech stock. I mean, tech's is strong today. Crowd strike moving up pretty nicely here. Pretty expensive, $448. Got an ATR of about $15. The ATR is coming down, which I'm not thrilled about. Baidu's is going up. But that's the thing that concerns me about CrowdStrike is we've got ATR coming down on it, which means that the stock is compressing somewhat, and it's about $15. So you're probably going to have to pay somewhere around $12 or so for a strangle, which I'm not going to do that. But I take your point. Buy just below the VWAP here, below the pivot point right now. Triple Q is moving sideways, so the market's compressing here right now. Tesla not doing much, up about $2 this morning, but coming up on a pivot point. It's got resistance at 3347.03, which is the same resistance level that it's had for a good long time right now. And it's really struggling to get through there. If you look at Tesla on a daily chart right here, right, you see this 347.03, right? This horizontal resistance line. Look at this. Hits it, comes back. Hits it, comes back. Gets through it, gaps down. Goes up through it yesterday, comes back down. Right up to it today. This is a very strong resistance level on Tesla. If he gets into that level, that would be a potential move to the upside. But right now, it's struggling with that level. Still bullish. You can see that it's bullish here. It's been kind of mimicking the market, but it's hard to trade this thing. I do trade Tesla a lot, but I'm not touching it here. Again, I did take Baidu for about 250. That's what's called a strangle. We're doing 87 call and 86 put. This is a non-directional trade. A straddle or strangle is non-directional. We don't care which way the stock goes. We just want it to move substantially in either direction. And what happens is when you get on the money in the money on one of your options, if we go to like this, we go to 87, and we move up to an 88, 88.50 to an 89, then you've got to watch it at that point when you're in the money on one of your strikes, because at that point in time you want to take profits if it starts to reverse, because it would have to fall all the way back to an 86 before you would get back into the money on the puts, and you're going to bleed off a lot of money like that. So I typically watch them, and if they go into my direction on either strike, then if I get a decent move and I'm in profits, if momentum stops or slows down, then I'll go ahead and take profits. Right now it's not doing anything. It's trading just below the 87 right now. Where these things can make money is if you get a gap up or a gap down overnight, you can really do really well on these. But if you get a flat move in these things, compressions is not what you want. You don't want compressions. You want stock price movements. And I took it because of the earnings, because the volume is high. The what's called volume buzz. The volume buzz today is very high because they're trading off of earnings. And I don't care which way it's going, but I know it's since earnings this morning, it's been moving. I haven't had a lot of compression in it. I'm getting a little bit now, but there's been some price movement. Coming up about 12:30. Okay, good one, WMB. How crappy do I find the days? It's an interesting day. We had a gap down, and then a move up. The spies red, the Q's are green. So that tells you pretty much all you need to know. It's a mixed market. You've got to be very stock specific in anything you're looking for. The market's really not giving you anything. It looked pretty nice here. We've had a nice move, but everything's kind of compressing. See how long we've been compressing here now? So the market's just going sideways. So you have to try to find stocks that are outstanding. Like I traded Netflix this morning for a nice win. I traded CoreWeave this morning for a nice win, both with debit spreads. CoreWeave is still strong. I like NVIDIA. I still like NVIDIA, but I'd be waiting for it to break out. I don't know what's going to happen. The market is just compressing here right now, but it's a very fairly flat market, really. That's my thoughts on ALGN line. You know, it's pretty bearish right now today. It's gapping down below the 8 and the 15. It's got support down here. Get support about 171. It's trading at 176. And ALG right here. It's bearish. Okay. Do I see 175 potential significant support level? I see a support level at the 50-day moving average on ALGN. 171.09. Let me look at some high volume lines and see what I can see. 176.33 was one, it just went through that. And 176.50 was a support level. It just broke through that. Get another one at 173.14. Some pretty good some support down around 172, 173. I was thinking you were thinking about 175, 170 PDS. I wouldn't, only because I think there's too much support between the 175 and the 170. So I don't know that it's gonna get there this week. Here's the chart right here. There's too much support here. First of all, you take 175. It's got to get to 175, and then you've got quite a bit of support all the way down to the 50. I'd be hesitant to do that. I think you may get some compression in this thing. SPY moving sideways, Q's moving sideways. Ari pointing out IBIT just broke the all-time high. Yeah, crypto's strong. Bitcoin's strong. IBIT's up today 2.5%. Coin's finally joined in, but it's just above its resistance level on coin. Mara also just above resistance. All the crypto stocks are moving nicely. The Qs are the Nasdaq is driving the market right now. The Qs are strong. SPY is just not as strong. Still red. Except UNH. Yeah, well, UNH has been an exception for quite a while here. UNH has had four nice days running up, and then today is gapped down $14, trying to bounce off the low. I wouldn't touch. I'm not touching UNH. Way too much news on that. What would be an A+ short from my point of view lately? Let me see. Good question. So many of them are right close to support on these shorts. Give me a couple minutes to look at that. I would have to. I wouldn't short UNH right now. I mean, it's a short setup, but I mean, I don't trust the stock at all. Let's see, what do I see of the best short right now? Let me look on here. See if I can find something that's decent. And it's worth taking it on. Nothing jumps out at me on the short side. Let me take one more look here. Sweet green is a decent one, but it's sitting right on support. You can always do a BTCZ, which is an inverse Bitcoin trade, but that's cheap, 338. Clorox is a potential short. Clorox CLX. It's just broke down below resistance. I'd say Clorox is a decent short. Looking at the daily chart here, pretty nice short. So I'd say Clorox definitely is a potential short. It's tough in this market. The market's been bullish here for 2 or 3 weeks, so you got to be careful. Yeah, that's about the only one I see. I mean, there's this like IBM I took recently. You notice you tend to enter when the stock breaks out. Sometimes on breakouts, sometimes on pullbacks. It depends on the timing on the stock and how much time I want to give it. IBM right now is if it bounces today and heads back up again, I might actually add to it, and I might go further out in time on a different call. I still like IBM bullishly, and I did take it on a breakout the other day, but it's pulled back since then. Does that mean I often have to take some heat? Yeah, but the further you are away from a support level when you get into a trade, the more heat you have to be prepared to take. So what you do is you size your trade so that if it goes against you, the loss is not going to be too devastating for you if it doesn't work. But you know, you're making some assumptions about what the stock is going to do. I thought IBM was going to continue on higher, and it pulled back a little bit. But you know, there's you can take breakouts if you like them, but they're not. You're gonna take more heat than if you wait for a pullback. But if I waited for a pullback right now in IBM to now, I'd be waiting for it to bounce. And if it does bounce from here, I'd be then getting in on a pullback and a bounce or a PBO, pullback opportunity, and then I would probably go out at least 3 weeks or so into the future for the calls, which is what I might do if it bounces. I will say, WMB, that this market, swing trades are very, very difficult. They've been very difficult all year because of the volatility in the market. So swing trades are really, really hard. Setups that look good on the daily have been getting broken, both to the upside and to the downside. So that's why it makes swing trades so difficult. I've been making most of my trades have been intraday trades for a while now, and I do try to do some swings because I have the alert service. I want to alert on those, and the alert's 5-0 this month, so that's pretty good. But I've only had 5 trades. There hasn't been very many on the alert service because I can't take. I like to take swing trades in there if I can. You have Wednesdays 620 14 put. Okay, yeah, Wendy's. I remember we had a short on Wendy's. Yeah, that's still a good short as well. It looked good. It bounced up. It went right through the 8 and the 15, and now it's rolled over today. The restaurant stocks have been kind of getting hit, so I think you're still okay on that. 14 put, yeah. So you're in the money on it. I don't know how you paid for it, but how much you paid for it. But I think that's a good setup. It does have. Let's look at Wendy's. All right, you've got some sort of support here. This is where your support level is, right? So if I go down here to my volume, I don't really have any. This is my support level right there. That's a high volume candle right there. Here's where your support is. So about 1175, right on support right now in Wendy's. It needs to break through that level. That's the level that it needs to get through. For it to give you some confidence that it may continue down. May. Key level 1168. Yeah, again I get 1175. So. Clorox still continuing down. That's a consumer defensive stock, which are typically stocks people go to, traders go to when the market is weak and they don't trust it. They think they're going to get a pullback. They'll go to defensive stocks, but they haven't been working very well lately in this market because the market's been going up. General Mills is another one. Procter and Gamble's another one, which is actually Procter and Gamble's been doing much better than some of the other consumer defensive stocks. The swing is not easy. That's absolutely right. All right, I'm going to get ready to get some lunch here. Again, Clorox for short. It's a potential setup. Who knows if these things are going to continue? But it's a decent short today for sure. Tesla, I'm not touching right now. It's just way too choppy. Nvidia, I like. This is starting to break. I really do like Nvidia. Nvidia looks good. Netflix. And Nvidia has earnings next Wednesday, by the way. Netflix starting to just kind of compress. CrowdStrike that was mentioned, also with a nice pop here today. And CoreWeave, which I took earlier today, still moving up. This thing is up beautifully. And I did take a strangle in Baidu. I get the 87 calls and the 86 puts, and we'll see where it goes. I need to get a decent move in that. I paid $250 for it. All right, so I'm gonna grab some lunch. I'm gonna shut down the YouTube feed. Thanks to you guys for being here today. I was late getting started. I had a little problem with the software, but got that resolved. So we'll be back again tomorrow, Thursday, around between 11 and 11:15, and look forward to seeing you then.